Hello and welcome to True to You Tuesday. I am Tracy Byerly and I am unapologetically great. I help women to create a confident, prosperous attitude about growing older so they can master the art of aging unapologetically. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited about today. And the reason why I'm so excited about today, it's like micro but global at the same time. You know how society has it that aging is something to be avoided at all cost and how miserable it's going to be. I get the opportunity of bringing on some women who are 20 plus years older than me or almost. I'm thinking of one that's not quite but close enough. But anyway, um, they're older than I am. And I look at them as mentors. Why do I do that? Because where women their age are deciding to be invisible, that hospice mentality where they're just ready to be made comfortable until it's time for them to go on to glory. These women that I'm going to be showcasing are doing anything but that. We are talking that they are beautiful inside out. They are very fit, full of vitality. And please forgive Sasha because she has something to say always. Anyway, they're full of vitality and fit and just living life to the fullest. They are not taking life sitting down. And where things may not always be perfect, they know what to do to make life great for them. So, without further ado, I want to give the bio of my guest, Debbie Laino. She says, I woke up to midlife determined to change the trajectory of my life, and I did. I am a transformational coach that works primarily with the subconscious mind to heal past hurts, uncover subconscious blocks, and retain the brain to create a more positive and supportive beliefs. At the age of 53, she went back to school to pursue her purpose to teach and coach other women how to care for their mind, body, and spirit, and to guide them through the tough places in their lives. She created the Ageless Woman movement with the intention to change life the way women think about the process of age. Her motto is that age doesn't stop you, poor health does. Love it. Inner healing is the essence of her work so women can thrive, feel strong, safe, and empowered. And qualifications, woo-wee! This woman is certified. She is certified in quite a few things. Integrative nutrition health coach, yoga teacher with additional training in neuroscience of yoga. She's a MAP practitioner, which retrains the brain for positive change. And she is currently training through the Amen Clinic to be a certified brain health coach professional. I want you to give it up for my sister, Debbie Leno, well-being coach. Hello, hello.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to do this. I'm so pleased to do it.
Thank you. I There's very few women that I have in my life that I look to as mentors, and Debbie is definitely one of them. You know what? Before we get into everything else, I got a couple of questions. First of all, what is a fun fact about you?
Well, I had to think about that one for a moment, but the first thing that came to my mind was when I was living in New York. I had my first five children in New York, and when I had the first one, our pediatrician formed a new moms group. And so I was like, well, yeah, I want to meet other new moms. And so I did that. I signed up, and one of the ladies in there I really clicked with. She was from Ohio, from Cincinnati. And I had just moved there years prior from Cincinnati. So we just clicked. And lo and behold, we got to be good friends. Our kids played a lot together. And she is now a famous young lady that most of you probably know, Amy Schumer.
That name sounds familiar.
She is a famous comedian, and she was just an adorable tot. But yes, some of your audience may know who she is, but you could quickly Google her to to find out. Yes, I'll never forget when she was on the Johnny Carson show. I think she was on Johnny Carson, and I they introduced her as Amy Schumer. I'm like, Amy Schumer, like I know the child that I knew back in New York. Is that the same one? And I ran to the TV. I said, "Oh my God, it's her all grown up." So
That
that's
is
my
so
fun fact.
amazing. That is awesome. And also, can you tell us a little bit about the ageless woman movement?
Yes, it was my brainchild several years back. I just was very fed up with the way women were thinking about age, and the way men regarded women as they aged. And I really felt that it was unfair. And I said, you know what? Um, I'm just gonna set out to change the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about age, and oh my gosh, I mean, age is not as important as your health, and I really did find that out. Um, that age really holds no barriers. I mean, I did a lot of things later in life, and I was better at it older than I would have been younger. So age is relative. It just the timing was right for me to do my education. I had already raised my kids. I was widowed. I have a long story which you can see on my website. I don't want to go into the whole story, but the story is what led me to do all that I have done so far. So yes, so the Ageless Woman is really about encouraging women to be all that they absolutely can be, to get all the stereotypes and the beliefs out of your mind. I shouldn't say out of your mind. There's a process of doing that, uncovering what they are, what's holding you back, and just getting past those things and thinking of yourself in a more positive way, and not thinking of yourself in terms of oh my wrinkles, oh my age, oh my hair, oh my this, oh my body, oh my belly. It's so when you get older, you will see it is so much less important than the state of your health. Because I'm telling you, if you do not have your health, you do not have anything. And that is, we don't think about that enough. We do what we want to do, eat what we want to eat. And we say, oh, well, someday I'll let go of that. Oh, well, it's not really that important. But all of a sudden you wake up, if you have not taken care of yourself, by 50, it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of funny thing that happened to me is that I was always a whole foods eater. I was raised that way. I raised my kids that way. I did it before it was fashionable. Um, so I had a really good, clean diet. And yet I became very, very, very ill with lots of autoimmune type problems, um, all kinds of inflammation that led to all kinds of conditions, chronic conditions. And unbeknownst to me, because I really didn't have the education then, it was for me, it had to do with chronic, unrelenting stress that was never dealt with. It was just always kind of shoved under the rug, kind of coped with, but not really addressing it. So I had too much stress in my life, chronic stress, unhappiness, all kinds of stuff. But it led to my illness. So it's not just about food. It's not just about exercise. And those things are really at the top of the list. They're really important. But keeping your state of mind and your emotions is so, so important, just as important.
See, y'all can see why she is a woman after my own heart. You know what? You talked about that. Let's go into something because you touched on something about trying times. And so inquiring minds want to know a tad glimpse of that and what did you do? You've lived, you've had some experiences. So
Yes, I
let's tell
did.
you.
Yes, I did. For me, as you know me, Tracy, I am faith based. And I was left in a situation in at 50. I was just 52, I think. Um, my late husband, well, obviously, passed away, and I was left behind with 6 children, 5 that were still living at home, 4 of which were still in school, the youngest being 9. And he left us penniless and broke. I had the IRS coming after me for all his business affairs. There was nothing. I mean, when I say there was nothing, I'm telling you, there literally was nothing. So I could have, I could have had a breakdown, I suppose, but I just had faith, the kind of faith that says it's going to be okay. Just take this one day at a time. And I did. I took it one day at a time, and I stayed out of fear. And so, how did I cope when the things got rough and I had absolutely nothing, and I was wondering how in the world am I going to do this on my salary? 6 kids, 5 still living at home, youngest 9. You know, I just had faith that somehow things would work out, and I just prayed all the time, all the time. Faith for what I didn't know, you know. So there were so many gracious people. Yeah, I wrote a letter to the IRS and they let me off the hook. I never heard from them again. It must have been a great widow story, I suppose, because I think it was a God's bless. I think it was God's hand on it too. I just poured out my heart to the IRS and they absolved everything. The
Amen.
oncologist wrote off the entire bill that was left. It was just one blessing after the other that covered my butt and help me out. And it was just one blessing after the other. I don't want to waste time by telling you all the blessings, but how did I cope? I prayed a lot. I had faith a lot, and faith for things I could not yet see. And at the time, I hadn't yet gone back to my yoga practice, but I dove into the Word and meditated a lot. And then I went back to my yoga practice. And then I got frustrated because I couldn't find a yoga class that really served me well. So I said, well, heck with that. I'm going to be a teacher myself. And that's what led me to become a yoga teacher because I couldn't find that class. So I became that class. I created what I
If they
couldn't
won't let you at
find.
the table, build it yourself.
Yes, if you can't find it, build it. Build it and they will come.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So keeping positive, always just staying as positive as you can. And I really didn't understand at that time the value of confronting the hard things and processing the harder things that I had stuffed under the carpet. But 3 years of therapy and a lot of work, self-development work, um, I came through it all. The forgiveness came, something I never thought I'd be able to do. That was a big part of coping, big part of my healing was being able to forgive.
Amen.
Yeah,
That's huge.
yeah.
Yeah.
So nowadays, with the trainings I have now, my best way of coping, because I still have hard times. I still have, just because I'm a transformational coach and have all this background, does not mean I am free from trouble. When trouble comes, I know what to do. And so, how I cope now, I journal, I pray, I meditate every day, sometimes twice a day. I move my energy. I've started some qigong and learned how to shift the physical energy in my body when it's starting to feel negative or unbalanced. So that's been really great. That's something new I've been doing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just set my mind on the things that are lovely, the things that are good. And if it's a momentary ugly thought or frustration or anger or whatever it is, I say, yep, I see you. I see you, but I don't have time to fall down that slope, and then I come back out of it.
Wow, y'all. Spoken from a mature, modern maven and sage. I want to change the trajectory for a moment. because when women start getting older, they start feeling unattractive and they don't feel like they can find love. And first thing, I'm looking at your hair because that's the first thing. I have to dye my hair because if he sees me, but nobody's gonna want me with these
That's
gray.
just crap. And if a guy feels that way, well, you know what? That's his problem. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. You have to. Well, I don't want to shame women who still want prefer to dye their hair.
Right, I'm with
You
you.
have to be 100% willing and ready and bold. Bold
Yes,
is, I don't really care what everybody else thinks. This is what I want to do. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. I was there at 59. At 59, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not spending the money. I'm saving myself $250 a month. Um, I want to kind of see what it looks like because all my roots are starting to come in white. I'm like, well, that's pretty freaking wild. What would it look like? So it was curiosity. So I'm as vain as any other woman. I mean, I basically said to myself at 59, well, if I don't like it, I can always dye it back, I guess.
that's true.
But I did not want to do that to my hair. I didn't want to see. There was another thing. I wanted to be aligned with what I was preaching, what I was speaking. I was speaking health. I was speaking, chemical free. I was speaking all these things, that are the things that can damage your hormonal health. And dye is one of them, can disrupt your hormones. Same as foods. All the chemicals in your food can disrupt your hormonal health. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm putting chemicals straight on my scalp, going into the pores of my scalp. I said, this is crazy. I have to stop this. I want to live my truth. My truth is to be as close to the earth as I can. I'm not there 100%, but I want to be as close to it as I can and as authentic as I can. And that just became more important to me than anything else. So,
I'll see why she's like a mentor to me. Love it. So we know how when you stop dyeing your hair at 59, and then also you told us why, but then you got an unpredictable love story because I know for a lot of women, oh, I'm ugly and nobody's gonna want me with this gray hair. So talk to us.
well, I want to tell you, number one, stress ruined my looks. If you saw me back in my 40s, I was a train wreck. I feel much more attractive and much more beautiful now that I have more wisdom behind me. I have forgiveness. I have um, I've just so many good things have been added to my life that has improved my appearance. So, you can be 40 and look like not look well. Let's just say that. And I didn't. I mean, I was tired and stressed out and all of those things. So y- I guess it's all relative. And I kind of lost track of where we were going with that. The unpredictable love story and being attractive and all that. So I hate to say it this way. If my children listen, forgive me, but they understand. Once my late husband passed away, a lot of my stress left.
I
I had
understand.
a very difficult 25-year marriage, 6 wonderful children and wonderful grandchildren, but I had a really difficult marriage, and it showed on me. And I'm telling you that I aged backwards when I started my work. And my work started when he passed away. And I hate to say that it took that long, but it just did for me. And my message to other women is don't wait that long. Get help, do the work. Don't wait until that person leaves your life to work on you. But anyway, so that's how it happened in my life. Um, and so I fell in love and after he passed away, and I was kind of looking like a wreck and feeling like a wreck, I thought to myself, who is going to want me? I have 6 kids, and I look like whatever. I'm like, who's going to want me? And as soon as I got that out of my head, I started doing my work and started healing me. See, that's what it is, ladies. You have to heal your beliefs. You have to heal your thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions. And when you do, your whole world changes. And it shows on your face. It shows on your looks because all of a sudden the opposite sex was attracted to me more. And I didn't plan that. I didn't try that. It just happened. And I think it was because I was happier. I was more whole. And that is what is more attractive. We think it's all this. It sometimes is not. It has so much more to do with how you feel about you on the inside. Yes. So we fell in love and then we fell out of love. That's the unpredictable part of my story is we fell in love and we were in love for 3, 4 years maybe. Fell out of love for several years, just went separate ways, still living together in the same house, but kind of went separate ways. And I was even considering not staying in the relationship. And then a turn of, I don't know what, I honestly don't know what it was, except for the fact that I went away on a vacation down to see my family, kind of just to sort of think about things. And when I came back, I was so excited to see him. He was excited to see me. We sort of we reconnected in a better way, got some space in between us, like 6 weeks space in between us. And I'm like, well, I don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm staying with this. We'd have been together at that point, maybe 10 years invested in the relationship. And I wasn't ready to let that go. I just thought there was more. And so we just, worked on the relationship and things started coming around. We came back around and then I noticed things were happening for him. Things that were happening that looked, didn't look good to me. Things that were not your normal aging. So I want to get into that for a minute because my husband is as fit as he's more fit than most men his age, and he is 71.
Y'all
But
heard her
he has been
husband.
fit his whole life. He has been a runner his whole adult life. He has played sports his entire adult life. He's underweight, so weight has never been an issue. He's got muscle. I mean, he's very fit. Yet something was happening. Something wasn't right. And I noticed there were cognitive changes that really kind of alerted me. And he didn't really want to talk about it at first, but that was in September when I noticed it. Coming into the following year, I said, we need to follow up on this. There's something happening here that is not age related because we're only a year apart. And I said, this is something more. Well, it was right around COVID time. We had a hard time getting in to see the doctors. By the time we actually got in, which was like 6 months down the road,
Wow.
the doctor's like, yeah, they did like there's like a 7-point test, very simple that they do in the office. And that tells them whether they need to go forward. And he definitely had to go forward with more testing. And result is, I don't want to string this out any longer. The end result is he's got Alzheimer's dementia. And then he proposed. And so my unpredictable love story is that even knowing he had Alzheimer's, when he proposed to me, I said, there's no way on earth I would let him go through this by himself. I just wouldn't do. There was nobody else in the wings to really look after him. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not that person. I'm not that person that goes, oh, I can't do that. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out because I love him. So love is way more than romance. Love is staying in there and caring for somebody. It's beyond the date, it's beyond a Valentine's card, it's beyond all the romantic things you attach to romance. It's beyond that. And I have discovered that. I mean, I didn't know that all my years, but I realize now the full scope of really what love is. Right?
Yeah.
We had a lovely little ceremony. And we're walking this road now, and I got actively involved. You can see from a lot of my posts, I'm a brain coach, or I'm studying to be a brain coach now, brain health coach. And then I'm just ate up with wanting to know everything there is to know about dementia and how does this happen and how do we prevent this. And so that's what I'm really crusading for now, is teaching young people how to care for their brain, how to protect their brain, because it starts decades before you actually have any symptoms. So I feel like a part of my story is not only to help my husband and to really help him through this stage, but to be that spokesperson for others, to say, hey, this can be avoided. This is more than just losing your memories. It's way more than that.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's what I'm actively pursuing right now. Did I get off topic? I'm sorry.
No, it's excellent. You flowed. And it's you guys got married at the end of June last year.
Yes, June 21st,
I see. I
2021.
remember. I remember. They're coming up on a year, and all is well. I love seeing their pictures together, and you guys
We're
just,
doing life.
and it shows. I love it. I
We're
love
doing
it.
life. And this is what I mean. Yes, sometimes unexpected things happen as you get older, but it's preventable. And that's my biggest message for today, is that 90% of what happens to you physically or with your health is preventable. It's not like my mother, my aunt, they had Alzheimer's. Oh my God, I'm going to have Alzheimer's. Oh, they had high blood pressure. I'm only 10% of your health can be related to your DNA.
See,
90% is what you choose to do. And yes, if you do have that in your family, I would say, yes, you probably ought to observe some really healthy guidelines for keeping your cholesterol down, keeping all that in check, you know, doing your follow ups and all of that.
yes.
But it's choice. It's choice. Aging is a choice. You know how? By the way you live your life, the things you choose to do, how you think, what you eat, your sleep. Oh my gosh, it you can have a fabulous, vital life if you there's so many things you don't realize that matter, like your sleep. Oh, I'll catch up on my sleep. Oh, it's a warrior weekend, or I had a whatever. No, 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 no. We have to take some of those things more seriously if you want to live a long, vital, healthy life. It just doesn't happen. It happens because you have carefully made good choices and you're taking care of yourself. Otherwise, I hate to tell you, expect illness.
Hmm. How you age is your choice.
Choice. And people don't like to hear that, because choice, sometimes making those choices are not fun. I will just say that it's not fun sometimes. But if you could adopt an 80-20 rule most of the time, 80% of the time, you're staying in good guidelines for your health.
Yes.
20% of the time, you're on vacation, you're having fun, you're whatever. You have a few drinks, don't sweat it. Have fun. Life, you
Sweet.
have to have fun too. What's that?
I said sweets.
Yes, and your chocolate. Yes, a
Yes.
chocolate a day is not a bad thing. Now, a box of chocolates a day could not be a good thing. We could talk about health coaching stuff on another day, but if you could apply, on my best days, I'm 80-20. On my perfect days, I'm 90-10. 90% of the time, on my really good days, 80-20. On my okay, I'm kind of being 70-30. And then when I'm on vacation, it's 50-50. 50% of the time, I'm towing the line, and the other 50% of the time, I'm having fun, whatever that means.
I love it. I got one last question. Well, maybe one last question. Woohoo! She's turning 70 this year. Wait, when's your birthday?
August 29th.
What's next?
I'd like to say that I have conquered my number one health goal for 2022, and that is 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, which sounds like a ridiculous thing. Like everybody wants to, I want to lose weight, I want to do the sleep, but it's climbed up to number one in terms of importance to how your brain functions, everything, your metabolism, your hormones, everything. So if I've nailed sleep, I would be really happy. I Because of the situation I'm in, I take one day at a time. So what's next for me? I hope that I can continue doing my best. And that's all I can say because I don't know what 70 will bring. I hope it brings us both the best. And that's what I think of every day. And that's what I strive for. Um, I would like to say I'm going to be creating some amazing paintings.
That's
So,
right.
yes,
You love
turning
art.
70, I'm going to go back to more of my art.
Yeah.
I want to, there's some other things that I have in the works that I want to do. There's a couple of programs I'd like to create. I'm not going to stop that. I'm not going to stop creating. I mean, creating will be, I would say that would probably be the word that would describe me from here on out is creating.
Your one word theme for the year.
Consistency, man. Consistency. That is my word. Creative was my word, I think, last year. Create. But yeah, it was. Last year it was create. This year, it is consistency all the way across the board. Because if you do these little things consistently, you will have great results. So just make those little things like little steps, but do them consistently. Yeah, consistency.
All right. All right. This is my last question. If you had it to do all over again, would you change anything? And if
Yes.
so, what?
Yes. There's a lot of things I wouldn't change, even though it was hard, because I wouldn't be where I am today, obviously, if I had not done that or gone through that. The one thing if I could go back and change, I would have spoke up and used my voice. I would have not cowered under somebody. My late husband was, God rest his soul, he was aggressive and dominant, and nobody else had a chance to say anything when he was in the room. I mean, he was the voice in the room, in the house, no matter where he went. So I wish I had stood my ground and been bolder. So if I could go back and do anything different, it would have been that. I would have had more confidence in what I believe in my values, and stood up for myself and my kids more. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. What I'm going to do is put up Debbie's contact information, screenshot, do whatever you need to do. And while you're doing all that, I'm going to put the spotlight on Debbie. I know how much encouragement you are to me. You are one of those ladies that I'm like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be like her. If you could encourage any woman that is approaching midlife and stressed out because, oh, my gray hair, oh, the wrinkles in my body's changing, and what would you say to them? Go for it.
I would say don't wait to love every part of you. You've earned it. You may not like it. It may be different than what it was. But I just hope that you can embrace all of you, and whoever you're with, they'll do the same thing, because when you love yourself and you love who you are, everything about you, everything. There's things that I don't love about me at almost 70, but I have learned to accept it and I have learned to embrace it. And so I think that you have to lose this, what I was and how I was. You have to, not that you have to, but it's helpful if you can learn how to accept the changes that came along life's way and embrace your new beauty. I'm going to call it a new beauty because it is. Because you will eventually shine from within, and it'll come from without. I mean, it'll come from within and it'll come out. And God love you. Do your best and be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Others will respect you when you respect yourself, every part of you, even the things that you think are flaws. I would just say, love them anyway.
Oh, how precious. All right. Y'all heard it from Debbie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You hold on. I'm going to give the sign out. For those of you who are watching replays, go ahead and type in their hashtag replay. Anywhere where there's a subscribe button, hit it. Check for all so that you'll know when we're on. That I cover all grounds. Drop some comments below. Show some love. And I shall see you all for Womanhood Wednesdays, which is at 1:30 Central Time. Until then, mwah, smooches.